I'm Mark Taylor. I'm a consultant hepatobiliary surgeon in Belfast. We're going to conduct some mini interviews with Team NIPANC that have signed up for Pedal the Periphery. This is trustees, patients who have had pancreatic cancer and relatives of loved ones who have passed, all joined up to cycle 480 miles. They're doing this in Pedal the Periphery 2024. Hi Jen.
Hello Mark, how are you?
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
And welcome to hashtag Team Talk with Taylor. So Jen, you've been a lifelong friend of Andrea and you knew Paddy.
Yeah.
We've just had Fraser and Alex,
Yeah.
Paddy and Andrea's wonderful boys in the car.
Yeah.
What sort of man was Paddy?
Gosh, what to say about Paddy? I've known Paddy, obviously, just about as long as I've known Andrea, and he was just a lovely guy, thoroughly decent guy, quiet, modest. I guess, you know, there was a lot I found out about Paddy actually, unfortunately, after he passed away, but he was a wonderful husband, he was a wonderful father, devoted to his family, but he was also the ultimate sportsman as well, in a very quiet and modest way that you would never have realised the achievements that he had made in his life. Well, he's an incredible guy, just lovely, lovely. Loved being outside all the time, loved his garden, would always share gardening tips with me. But just what a lovely guy. Yeah.
And obviously we know that the symptoms of pancreatic cancer can sometimes be there but very difficult to detect. Are you aware of what Paddy's symptoms were or how it presented?
Well, this is just it. There was really very little at all that you could have put your finger on. Everything was so vague, but nothing that would have given any indication of the severity of the disease that was going on in his body. So at the time, I was not aware of anything. It was only really what Andrea told me about. There was nothing you would have seen looking at Paddy. Strong, fit, active, doing everything that he always did with his usual gusto and energy. So there was no sign of anything, and it wasn't really until Andrea told me that he'd been having some minor digestive issues, which when they're minor with Paddy, they probably weren't that minor. Yeah, digestive indigestion, which was sort of gradually accelerating a little bit until it became very, very much more than that.
And that sort of indigestion that isn't settling is one of those early symptoms that NIPANC have been trying to raise awareness for.
Absolutely.
So last year, Andrea and Cathy did something really amazing.
Yes.
They cycled 480 miles around Northern Ireland non-stop and raised over £100,000.
Phenomenal.
And you were part of that journey, Jen. So
Small part.
tell me where you picked the girls up and how far did you cycle?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the planning for the day was a big part of it, and I did a lot of training, you know, rides with Andrea in the early days, but I did a small part of the ride, and it was an incredible privilege to be part of it. It was a very emotive, very emotional, but it was an incredibly inspiring event to see the girls and what they put themselves through for such an incredible cause and a reason. I started the ride with them, and I cycled to Newcastle, which I think was somewhere in the region, maybe 70 miles, and then I did the last maybe 30 or 40 of miles with them. So, I mean, just a beautiful way of seeing Northern Ireland at its very best. So yeah.
And you've signed up for this year, so hashtag Pedal the Periphery 2024 is going to be a team event this year, and you've drawn one of the straws that put you into Team NIPANC. So you're going to join the Team NIPANC for this sportif. So how's training been going?
If I'm being totally honest, I think training hasn't properly started yet, but I love to exercise, and it is very much entrenched in my lifestyle. I exercise, you know, most days in the week, whether it be swimming or cycling or hiking or running. So I do cycle probably a couple of times a week. So I guess that gives me a good base to start from. But I think when the weather starts to pick up a little bit, I'm hoping to get the road bike out and put in a few more miles. But yeah.
And I think the wonderful thing is Paddy was a wonderful man. This is his legacy.
Absolutely.
And in doing the Pedal the Periphery, obviously, with the Volkswagen Beetle here, all the signs and symptoms on the side, you know, as well as raising funds for NIPANC, it's about raising awareness. What would success look like for you at the end of Pedal the Periphery 2024?
I think if we were able to raise public awareness as to detecting those subtle early signs and symptoms, that there's a better awareness of this hideous disease, that people could become more aware and therefore present to their medical team earlier on in the process. And I guess feeding into that, you know, raising those funds that will enable the research that can be done into that field, that there will be some way of maybe developing early detection or more research into the field. But yes, I think that public awareness becomes better, and also within the medical health care personnel as well, I suppose.
Jen, a wonderful friend to Andrea and to us in NIPANC. # Team Talk with Taylor. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Same. Thank you.